The cloud you trust with every photo, every record, every secret you own, is one bad afternoon of space weather away from becoming a ghost story. When the grid browns out and the chips cook themselves, your phone is a paperweight and your laptop is a mirror. But there is a machine, a slab of 19th-century steel, that keeps writing when every screen in the country goes black. Veterans are quietly buying them out of dusty antique shops, and they are not being sentimental. Start with what a typed page actually is, and, more to the point, what it isn't. It isn't a file. There is no cloud copy syncing behind your back, no metadata stamped into the margins, no edit history whispering who you are, nothing sitting on a server waiting for a subpoena or a hacker. You strike ink into paper, and the words live in exactly one place, the sheet in your hand. It cannot be copied to a flash drive it never touched, or swept off a network it was never on. That is the air gap people pay fortunes to fake with software, and you get it for the price of a ribbon. And do not kid yourself that running a file through your printer buys you the same thing. A color laser printer stamps faint yellow tracking dots on every sheet, coding its serial number and the exact time, which is how investigators helped pin down a government leaker in 2017. The page off a manual typewriter is the only one that carries none of that. But here is where the honest man parts ways with the hype. A typewriter does not make you invisible. Every machine wears its own way. A letter that leans, a character that rides high, spacing that drifts. A forensic examiner matches a page back to one specific machine the way a ballistics tech matches a bullet. They tied Ted Kaczynski's typed documents to the machine pulled from his cabin. Communist Romania understood the threat so well that a decree in 1983 forced citizens to register their typewriters with the police and hand in a typed sample of every character each year. So get the framing right. A typewriter takes you off the digital grid. It does not take you off the map. Now, the reason the veterans actually care, and it is the strongest claim on this list, an electromagnetic pulse does not burn your gear with heat. It shoves a wall of voltage through every wire and trace, and the delicate semiconductors inside die in nanoseconds from a few volts they were never built to hold. The finer the chip, the faster it goes. The more circuitry your gear carries, the more delicate it is, exactly backwards from what you want when the sky lights up. And this is not campfire talk. In 1859, the Carrington event pushed so much current through the telegraph lines that operators were shocked out of their chairs. The paper caught fire, and two men on the Boston line unhooked their dead batteries and kept sending on the storm's current alone. In 1962, a single 1.4 megaton warhead went off 250 miles up and knocked out streetlights and phone links in Hawaii, 900 miles away. A manual typewriter has nothing to fry. No circuit board, no logic, no stored charge. Just levers, springs, and a ribbon. When the pulse comes and every phone and radio is bricked, the iron on your desk does not even notice. Then there is the long game of survival, because the record you leave has to outlast you. Most people store their whole lives on media built to die. That receipt in your wallet is thermal paper, no ink at all, just heat-sensitive dye that starts going blank in months. Faster if it rides a hot dashboard. Skin oil or a smear of hand cream can wipe it back to nothing. Your inkjet pages fade in 25 or 30 years, and only while the grid, the cartridges, and the drivers all still exist. A typewriter with a black carbon film ribbon lays down pure carbon black, the same soot pigment in 2,000-year-old manuscripts you can still read today. Pair it with acid-free paper, rated to last centuries, and your words outlive the batteries, the servers, and the company that built them. The catch is, you stock it now. Manual, never electric. An electric machine still begs the grid for power. Buy the ribbons ahead, the carbon paper for copies, the acid-free stock, from outfits like Ribbons Unlimited, that still cut ribbons for machines built in the 1920s. Pick one up, and the appeal turns physical, and a little ridiculous. A mid-century standard is 30 or 40 pounds of cast iron and steel, built in an age that repaired things instead of tossing them. Your laptop is 3 pounds of plastic that dies if you look at it wrong. You can drop the typewriter down a flight of stairs and keep working. A 70-year-old Olympia still types clean this morning, while a 7-year-old laptop is landfill. Every keystroke is a closed mechanical loop. Your finger swings a steel type bar that hammers the word into the page, and the clack tells you it landed. No firmware, no update that abandons you, nothing to charge overnight. And yes, it weighs enough to hurt something, which makes it the least subtle home defense tool in the house. I am joking, mostly. Which brings us to why the serious people went back to steel and paid real money to do it. In 2013, after Snowden, Russia's Federal Protective Service, the people who guard the president, put in an order for 20 typewriters, roughly $15,000, purely to keep sensitive drafts off any computer a spy could reach across a wire. The next year, the chief of the German parliament's own surveillance inquiry floated manual typewriters. Manual, he stressed, not electric, and said on television that this was no joke. Why manual? Because from 1976 to 1984, the Soviets buried keyloggers inside 16 IBM Selectric typewriters in the American embassy and read every keystroke off the print ball's motion. An electric machine still leaks a signal. A mechanical one has no signal to steal. Here is the whole game. You cannot mass surveil paper. There is no cable to tap, no cloud to subpoena. So beating it means somebody has to come to your machine, one at a time. The opposite of vacuuming up 1 million emails with a button. And be honest about the deal those agencies actually made. They did not pick paper to hide the writer. Each machine's worn typeface hands an investigator the exact source. For them, the traceability was the point, not the flaw. So that is the quiet thing the antique shop crowd already understands. And it is worth saying plain. When the grid is down, the cloud is gone, and the chips are slag. The boring steel machine that needs nothing but a ribbon and your 2 hands is still writing. It will not make you invisible. A page always remembers the machine that made it. But it takes you clean off the grid that is watching. And in a blackout, that is the difference between a record and a rumor. If that hit home, subscribe, ring the bell, and drop a comment with the one analog tool you would never give up.